What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be reviewing Port Adelaide's round 20 victory over GWS, winning by a very, very promising 27 points at Marvel Stadium in what was a pretty competitive game across 4 quarters. It was a difficult challenge, I thought, across the whole match, and in the end our class just outshone the GWS's might, and we were able to get the job done in crucial fashion as well. 4 points, much needed, a game clear in top 4. It's a massive statement with 3 games to go. So let's get straight into it and let's review this game. I thought one of the more promising things throughout the game was the fact that our resilience, our fight throughout any challenge that GWS threw at us. We were able to bite back and just keep that grind going. You know, when it was easy, we made it look very easy when we were playing top 4 footy, and that first quarter, besides hitting the scoreboard as much as I probably thought we would have, to have like 15 inside 50s without a goal scored, I think halfway through that quarter, and then GWS were struggling to get it even out of our 50, and we were able to kick finally 2 or 3 goals in quick succession, and Charlie Dixon with 2, Ladhams with 1, the big men were standing up, and the damn wall broke, and I thought that was probably arguably our best quarter of football for the year in terms of the way we played, in terms of the way we structured up, and without getting any reward for it. It was better than those 7-goal first quarters against Essendon, or the 1 quarter of football we play per week, or the game against Fremantle where we kicked 8 goals in the first quarter. It was better than those because it was consistent, and we were constantly at GWS for pretty much majority of the quarter. They kicked their 1 goal from being able to break through the defence, which was pretty strong throughout that first quarter. And moving to the second quarter, the game changed a little bit, became more of a shootout, and it didn't suit us as much because we are a very forward defensive pressuring game plan, and GWS were able to manipulate that by going through and winning the contested possession and winning the clearances, which have been a downfall of ours in patches and games. So to do that, match it with them, but also to leak a few goals, which defensively wasn't up to scratch in that second quarter, was definitely a little bit disappointing. There was a few times where we were just caught out from GWS's switch of play. There was one instance where there was 7 or 8 GWS players in the middle of the ground, all free in our midfield, and defensive unit pushed up to the ball carrier, and they were able to get out the back, and that's not like us. And I think the pressure of GWS was able to manipulate that a lot more than I think we would have liked in that sense. And people have talked about how we crumble under pressure, and it was interesting, the dynamic, to see that the pressure the GWS brought. They're a very good side. They're on the fringe of the top 8. They're probably the 8th best side in the comp, and have fallen to teams that they probably wouldn't have liked to lose to, and then to this one for the mayhem that they were caused during the week with the lockdown the day before, and to quickly travel to Melbourne, and that probably played somewhat of a factor in the end. But I think for them to bring that type of heat, and then for us to sustain it and keep it off, I thought was very impressive for us, which is something we've lacked throughout the year. So in that sense, we were able to just keep them at bay. And then in the third quarter, they were able to, it was a shootout, but it was a less of a shootout. It was more of a end-to-end pressurising game. GWS had opportunities. Port Adelaide had a little bit less opportunities, but took the ones they had. And in comes Todd Marshall and Georgiades, 2 young forwards. We've got a full forward line with 4 tools: Georgiades, Marshall, Dixon, and Ladhams. And Dixon comes out and kicks 4, and Ladhams kicks 3 of the weirdest goals I've ever seen a tall man kick. Marshall kicks 2, which he was very impressive, I thought, in those moments to kick those goals. Otherwise, he had a pretty average game. And then Georgiades was somewhat quiet, but created opportunities, which is something that Dixon's been doing in the air and getting the ball to the ground. But Dixon was kicking crumb and goals. Ladhams was kicking crumb and goals because Georgiades was flying. And it looked like to me that we somewhat had a bit of a system going where one tool would fly, another would fly, and then it would chop and change. It wasn't all at once, which we've been used to in the past. So maybe the four tools up forward, on a rainy day that gets caught out. And when Robbie Gray comes back, that probably changes. But, it was very impressive. Very impressive to see them work together. And that's 2 weeks in a row now that it's been able to work and work really well, which is a massive plus for us. And I think the other plus as well was to break GWS in the end in the last quarter. A 50-50 game in the second and third quarters. We dominated the first quarter, and then in the last quarter you come out and you dominate possession, you dominate inside 50s, and you're able to continually play that pressure game. That 4 quarters, it wasn't a very impressive 4 quarters, but it was 4 quarters of football that was somewhat consistent. There was patches again where we weren't up to scratch, and that midway through the third quarter, late in the second quarter, but it was good. It was a good, solid performance. Not a standout one, but 27 points against a side that was sitting 8th is somewhat, to me, impressive with the results that have been happening over the weekend. North Melbourne just losing to Geelong in the end down in Tassie. Hawthorn beating Brisbane in Tassie. Sydney just getting over an Essendon unit that was fit and firing. And it's these types of games that there can be danger and you can lose. But as a top 4 side, Port Adelaide have consistently beaten the sides they should. And yes, they can't beat the teams at the top, but they've given it a good run. And that's been with players out, and they haven't had the consistent basis of the same 22 every week that some teams have been blessed with. So in that sense, there's a lot of talk that we're pretenders, and I can completely cop that. But at the moment, this performance to me stood out more because it was the 3rd game in a row at Marvel. It was the 3rd game in a row we haven't been at home. We've only been in hotel quarantine, strict guidelines, to continually put out performances week after week and then come up against a GWS outfit fighting for a top 8 spot. By far one of our better wins for the year. To be challenged like that and to have that type of performance with key standouts. Carl A. Amon, as it's been circling around. Thank you, Jack Hudson. He has another fantastic performance. He looks like he's a class above yesterday. He was just silky smooth with his ball use. He was able to get through packs. His contested games improved massively. He was pinpointing kicks. I love when he kicks inside 50. He's our best man for the job doing that, putting it inside 50 long. I thought Ryan Burton's game was terrific down back. One-on-one was sensational. Was able to help out and clear the ball. And was able to set up inside 50 as well and run and carry, which was great. The 3 Musketeers, Rosie, Dersma, Butters, when it mattered most, they stood up. Butters' last quarter 8 possessions was sensational. His touch of the football is just magnificent. He has so much time. Connor Rosie's dancing footsteps and was able to manipulate some contests in the last quarter. Dersma stood up, taking key marks, kicking a crucial goal late. It's what matters in these situations. As an overall package, Ollie Wines was fantastic as well. 27 touches. That second and third quarter was his main impressive, because when the game was in the balance, he stood up. Boak's last quarter was sensational. Scotty Lycett's performance overall against Mumford. We talk about how Mumford's a great unit, and he stands up in key moments. He didn't stand up much yesterday. I really thought that Lycett manipulated him around the ground, was able to move and carry the ball, and that's something that a ruckman shouldn't do, and he was doing, so that was really impressive. Orazio took a while to get into the game, but he kicked a crucial goal late. Dixon's performance around the ground was sensational. He was playing on one leg, and this bloke's kicking 4 goals, crumbing balls and creating contests, and was taking contested marks. He's the number 1 contested mark inside 50 in the competition. If that doesn't say, he's taken like 80 marks for the year and 50 of those have been contested marks. It shouldn't be happening as a forward, but it is. He's got 4 on him and he's still taking contested marks. That's just how impressive Charlie's year is. And to me, Charlie's year, 41 goals. Number 1 in the comp for contested marks. 7th in the Coleman. He had a slow start, but he's had one of the better years. And his last back end of the season, about 6 to 8 games, he has been so impressive. So for Charlie to be honestly continually doing these performances is so impressive, and that's exactly what form we want going into the finals. So as a whole, to sum it up, team performance was absolutely fantastic to watch. I was on the edge of my seat, but players stood up in crucial moments, and everyone stood up when they had a chance, and that was really impressive for me. So well done, Port Adelaide. Amazing performance against GWS. We've got the showdown this week. Another test because it's a showdown. It goes up a notch. It's an away showdown. So hopefully, we bring our A game, recover as much as possible this week. We're back home now, which is going to be great. We're back home, Adelaide Oval, a full week to recover and just set ourselves on getting another showdown victory. Thank you for watching, Port fans. This has been my Round 20 preview. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide AFL content. So close to 4,000 subscribers now. So I look forward to hitting that milestone and celebrating with you all pretty soon. So hopefully Port Adelaide get the job done this week. Preview will be out on Thursday. I look forward to having a look at what will be a very, very, very exciting showdown. Thanks for watching. My name is Anthony, and as always, come the pair.